Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Good to see you all. We're so excited to share our news for this webinar today about EarMaster 7.5 with you. So we have a lot to share for the next 45 minutes, so I hope that you're excited just as we are. The content of the webinar today is information about EarMaster 7.5, and then we're digging into that version of the app, looking about a jazz piece, a Lullaby of Birdland, to demonstrate features related to rhythm exercises and basic dictation exercises. Then we're looking into Mozart's Verum Corpus to demonstrate features related to more advanced dictation exercises with multiple voices, new playback options, and the option to trim score excerpts. We are also going to look at how to create exercises and save them as presets, which is a brand new feature. And we are going to be looking at creating exercises for your students with using these new features in the app. And lastly, a Q&A session. So the first part, what is in EarMaster 7.5? I'm not going to demonstrate everything, but I've chosen what I think are the most important features, both for music teachers especially, and also for general users. There's an improved note editor for melodic dictation, for any kind of dictation exercises, also rhythmic dictation. There's the option of using multi-voice dictation, so you can do it with 2, 3, 4 or more voices, have an exercise where you need to listen to those melodies and those voices and input them. You can solo a voice. You can play back from anywhere in a score. You can also take any excerpt from a score and use that with the new score trim functionality. There are new count-in. There's the user presets for customized exercises where you can save an exercise you've created for yourself for later use. There are new count-in settings that I'm going to demonstrate. And there is the tonic chord shown on the staff that you can always see, and you can also click and hear it. And there is a new note toolbar that shows both notes and rest, so you don't need to toggle between them. And then there's the option of having accompaniment voices available in rhythmic activities, so you can combine like melody and rhythm in many good and interesting ways. That is more or less what I've chosen to demonstrate today. And for that purpose, I will be going to the EarMaster app. This is how it looks like when you open the app, and I think that most of you are familiar with the app, and if you're not, we have many webinars that are recorded on our video playlist on YouTube that you can check out to get like a more general introduction to the EarMaster app and to EarMaster Cloud for schools that connects teachers and students, and there's a lot of general information about that there. For today, we're going to go more or less directly into the app and to the exercises that I've chosen to demonstrate. I've collected them here, so you see the list of courses, and with the green logo there, here are the exercises chosen for today. We are going to be working with Lullaby Birdland, and that's the first one. For the first exercise, a rhythmic clapback exercise, it has two new features. It has it shows you the options of choosing counting settings, and also it has the rhythmic clapback combined with accompaniment. Let's take a look at it. So here in the exercise options up here, we can see that if you know from the current version of the app, you can choose to have the count-in played or not. But something new is that you can also choose how many bars of count-in you want, and you can choose where you want them. Do you want them now, since this is a clapback exercise with imitation, do you want them just before the question only? That is what you hear and have to imitate. Do you want them also before the answer? That is what you give. Or do you want what we call continuous call response mode, where you just get a count-in for the first questions, and from then it just continues without stopping? I'll take that one for this exercise. So we start with getting a count-in. and it's a rhythmic clapback. I'm going to be tapping back the rhythm on the spacebar. On the phone, you tap just the screen of the phone. You can also use the microphone for this kind of rhythm input if you, for the lower instrument, choose, instead of rhythm tapping, the microphone. This one is locked, however, by myself. So here it goes. I click New Question. We see the flow here. We get a counting bar. We hear a melody. I try to imitate it. Good, and we can see I was a little bit late here. I was too late to go green in the first question. And I'm always challenged a little bit by Zoom in these webinars regarding the timing. So I didn't do too well for the first one. For the last one, it was more or less okay. A little bit late here. So this is the first example of combining rhythm exercises with the music that you hear. For the next one, this is let's go to the next lesson. A rhythmic clapback with score. So another new feature for rhythm exercises is the option to do clapback while seeing the score. And this is a really interesting exercise, especially for the lower levels. It's extremely useful because the students actually learn to read music very effortless in a playful manner, because they hear something, they imitate it while reading the same music, and getting used to what it actually looks like, what they're doing. It can also be useful for higher levels, for example, to practice the precision of quintuplet, septuplets, other difficult rhythms. So you perform the rhythm by reading it, but you just start with hearing it. Here it's a basic, pretty simple exercise. Listen to the music. And here I've added a count in before the answer to. It allows for a little delay, making the student have to wait a little bit and make the student a little bit more dependent on reading the music. Though, of course, it's not very much time, so they can also remember the music. But yeah, let's try it. We listen. Count in bar. Yep. And again, I'm a little bit challenged by a delay caused by Zoom, but it shows me that I was too late on this next to last note, so late that it was considered like off or wrong, a little bit late on the first ones. And that's how it works. I get another question because there's one here and there's one more here. 2, 3. I read the music. Like that. So you can also choose longer excerpts, 4 bars or more. And the longer excerpts you choose, of course, the less you can rely on your memory, unless you know the song, of course. And the more you have to rely on reading the music. You can also choose to have the note length evaluated. You enable that here. And then you have to sustain by pressing your fingers when tapping the rhythm. You have to sustain the notes all the way until the end. Going to the next exercise, a rhythmic sight reading with accompaniment. So you can now also do rhythmic sight reading exercises with accompaniment. So this is just a regular sight reading exercise with nothing heard before, where you just have to input the rhythm. It's just a little bit more fun when you get an accompaniment to perform the rhythm to. Furthermore, I've forced the student in this one to sustain the notes for the right duration, as I mentioned before, by enabling the silent input mode. So you don't hear the sounds that I'm tapping in, but EarMaster registrates it and evaluates it. So I get a count-in bar. So here, everything is a little bit to the late side, and the last note, I only sustained that for about a fourth. I should have sustained it all the way to the end to improve, to do better. These are the lines that show me that I'm sustaining the notes correctly here, and the arrow shows me that I'm a little bit too late. So we're leaving the rhythm exercises now, rhythm with musical accompaniment, going to melodic sight-singing, because the next step in a process of exploring this piece of music could be to sight-sing it. And for this exercise, I've added 2 bars of count-in, as I showed you before you could do. So there are 2 bars of count-in here, and I have to sing it. Let's go. Na 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 na. And I think I need to be just checking my microphone input, because it seems to be wrong. It has currently not the right microphone that I'm singing into. I'm gonna try to use that one instead. Ba, and it shows me here that it's getting enough input. So I'm gonna do that one more time. Usually when you open a melodic sight-singing exercise, you get this microphone little test, the calibration tool, and this is to secure that you get the right microphone and you get enough input. We try again. Na, na, na. I'm sorry, one more time. Na, 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 na. Okay, better, more decent, a little bit flat here, and a little late going down here. So a combination of mostly being a little bit late. All right, let's go to the next one. This is a pulse tapping exercise. So this is a very, very basic exercise for beginners or lower levels, which is just training the ability to hear the pulse of a piece of music, to beat the pulse, and of course you can train your rhythmic precision with that, but also just your feeling of the pulse in a piece of music. There's a lot of these exercises in our course called Oral Training for ABRSM that you can explore, but you can also make your own ones. So it goes like this. I just listen for a bar, and when the cursor moves to the next bar, I start tapping, having to follow the rhythm. Yeah, showing me where I was precise, where I was a little bit late or a little bit early. So it's also an option now with these combined rhythm and accompaniment features to do that kind of exercise. Next up, we are going to dictation exercises, starting with a rhythmic dictation exercise, and to demonstrate the improved note editor. The whole note input process has just been made quicker and smoother. So let's take a look at how that is. I click New Question to hear a rhythm. Actually, I picked a melody piece of from the song that we're going to be notating the rhythm for. So, as mentioned before, new here is that you have both notes and rests visible. You don't need to toggle between them. And you have a regret or undo button here. So I am just inputting so if I want to regret or undo something, I can use this button. I can also pick the eraser and use that. I click it off again. So for this, I'm going to choose the dotted fourth and unclick the dot, input the next note, and now we have to find out how long to sustain the note here. So I'm just going to click play question again and listen for that. I think that's the whole bar. So I'm going to input a half note, and then we have a tie we can add here between those notes there. And click submit answer, and it was correct. Yes, we're going to move on to a melodic dictation exercise, still from the Lullaby Birdland. So let me zoom in a little bit. We have the zoom buttons up here. And of course, I'm just notating with, I'm notating straight eighths because we have up here the symbols showing that the straight eighths should be converted or should be played as swinging eighths. Just one bar. Here we have the note to the beginning note, also pre-selected here for the first note because is the right note value. So I have that selected, and I can input various ways. I can click, I can drag if I am too high or low. I can slide to the side to add sharps and flats until it is where I want. I can also use the keyboard down here. So if, for example, I select this rest, and I select a no value to input, I can do like that. And unless silent input is forced or chosen here, I can hear what I'm putting in. So and then I can have my answer played, sounding all right, but stopping a little bit too early. So something is, of course, missing here. It shouldn't be a rest. I want to show you also how it looks like if you do have the silent input enabled. Of course, I can't hear my own answer. I can't hear the notes that I'm inputting. So I can't, there's no way for me to make sure I get the right answer before submitting it. So let me try to do something here like that. And I click submit answer. And I'm told that it was wrong because most of it was right, but this one was not long enough, and this one was wrong. Now I can hear my answer. Of course, not exactly the same as when I play the question. Yeah. In a while, we're going to be looking at some other features for the playback. Yeah, I'm finishing this exercise and moving on to the next module. So We are moving on from the Lullaby Birdland into a few exercises with Mozart's Ave Verum Corpus. And this is for the more advanced melodic dictation. Here's an exercise where we have 4 parts. So I have to input the soprano. Actually, I also have to input the bass, so we can see there's a little symbol here saying this one is going to be evaluated. This is also going to be evaluated. And I input, let's start with the soprano, the same way as before. So I can choose just to click in the notes here, or to input them here. And I can undo. I can also use the shortcut, just a normal shortcut for undo, and select the right duration. I click the value and input it. And currently the silent input is enabled, so I can't really hear what I'm doing, but I'm sure that there is something missing here with this little note. Should be G sharp. And I can keep going. I need to turn to just the fourths here. And of course, I can hear the question again. But if I'm not sure about the last part of it, I can also, let's just for a while turn off the silent input so I get a little bit more help. This option, if you're a music teacher, when you define the exercise, when you create the exercise, you can lock it for your students. So you decide if they should be able to do it, to hear their own, like what they've input or not. So, and now I can hear what I'm inputting. I can also hear what I've input. So if I don't want the whole thing, I just want part of it. Maybe I have a longer excerpt. We have this new feature with the move playback, the play cursor, where you can set the play cursor. You go into this mode by clicking that one, and then you just click wherever in the score where you want to hear from. Like that. Comparing that, we're still here with the question. Yes, like that. And if I'm still not sure, I can click out here, and this little icon shows me that right now I'm soloing this voice. So I'm hearing my answer, but I can also solo the question. With the other voices hardly heard. And this is also, for a music teacher, an option that you can allow or disallow. So we still need to do something with the bass voice. I'm clicking down here, and I can see the first note. I'm hearing the question again. And I need, of course, I need to turn away the playback mode where I can click around and hear everywhere. Turn that one off so I can select between all the values. It's easy to see if things are grayed out, there's something selected that you need to unselect or deselect. You do that. And then you just start inputting into this voice. Like that, for example. And I'm moving this one up to submit the answer, to see that everything was correct up here except for that one that was too high. And the bass voice was correct all the way. I can see my answer, it's all correct, and the correct answer. And again, I can have also in this mode, in the evaluation phase, I can click here to select whatever I want to hear. If I'm not sure about this last bar, I can play my answer. And here was wrong. I can play the question. Of course, the G should have been an F sharp. So those are the options that you have here. And this one always takes you back to the beginning. So you can play from there. Yes. All right. Let's move on to the next question or the next exercise. And this is a sight-singing exercise. Sing the alto part of a little, just a little phrase from Verum. Another feature in 7.5, EarMaster 7.5 is the ability to trim a score, meaning that you can select an excerpt from a score from anywhere, from any note to any note. So you can divide a score up in phrases or periods or sections and take those one at a time. And this is what I've done here for this little phrase that actually starts with I'm singing and seeing the alto voice, but the soprano starts in the middle of this bar, and they stop on the next to last note together here. So, and I've also chosen here to see only the alto part. I could have chosen also to see all the voices, just like we did before in the dictation exercise. And another new feature is the option, the ability to see the tonic chord here, and also by clicking it, having played. Now I'm starting. So I get played bum and the starting tone bum, which is of course here. So I click record answer. Like that. So I just had to wait for the soprano to start, the count in, of course, and the soprano to start, and the meter is 2/2. So it's this very slow meter, a slow feeling at least, with the metronome beating just twice in the bar. And yeah, so this is useful with the score trimming for many different things. Actually, I want to show you how you can do it. We're going to be turning to that just in a second. First, let's go back to the beginning and go to the customized exercise section, because here we have a feature hidden that is also new, and it is the ability to save your presets here, because the customized exercise section is where you define an exercise before you actually go into it. And this is just a general user phase, so it's for anybody, whether teacher, student, or just whoever. So let's try Rhythmic Clapback. And for the source of musical material, if you're working on a desktop, like on a computer and not on a mobile device, you have access to the score library, where you can add music for an exercise. The way you do it is you click score library, and for the list of questions up here, you add through the plus sign, and you can search between the whole music score library with hundreds of pieces. And I've imported the music XML file with Lullaby Birdland, so I'm going to be using that. I click next, and here is where I can select which parts of it to use. So if I want to use just the first 2 bars for an exercise, or maybe the first 4 bars, and then I do that. Here I can decide what to do with the different voices. I have the chords. I have the first voice, which is the melody, which is the one I want to have evaluated. So I keep that one there. Then I have a voice that I just used for the rhythm tapping. I don't want that, so I just click that one away. I keep the bass line, so I keep that like that. And I click OK. I don't need to trim this one. There are no upbeats or anything. I can also hear, of course, if I want, before I move on. And then it is right here. I can move it up as the first question in a series of questions that I've been preparing. So I can go into the exercise, but before I do that, I want to show you the preset function. It's up here. It's behind the star. So I click that one, and let's say I want to save this one as a new preset, so I can come back to it. I just call it Lullaby 2, and it's there. If I do any changes, if I go back to select something else, I can always go back and find this one, the Lullaby 2. So now it is asking me if I want to save the changes that I made. I don't want to save the changes. So they're still there. I click begin, and we have this rhythmic clapback exercise where I can decide what to do with the count-ins. Right now I get one count-in before question and before the answer. Let's try that. And I've chosen to have to see the score. So I don't need to remember everything. I can click up here to edit the exercise. And I want to show you under option that this always shows staff. This option is where you select to have the staff shown always. If you do like that, it's going to be purely by memory. You don't see anything before the evaluation phase. So, and the same thing about the presets can be done with any other exercise. If I have an interval identification exercise, I can see I have already a preset that says unison to fifth, both ascending and descending. Maybe I want to make another one. So, for example, fifth octave, and then select those intervals. I can make a whole list of different exercises that I can go back to whenever I want. So now it's here, and I can go into the exercise and hear them and answer them. Yes. So that was the presets, how to create exercises and save them as presets. For all of you that are music teachers, of course, I also want to show you how you can use these new features to make assignments for your students. So for that, we go to the teacher view, and we go to the workbook editor. And actually what I want to do is I want to open the file that contains the music, the exercises that we just went through before with Lullaby Birdland and Verum Corpus by Mozart. And here are all those exercises. So for example, for the sight-singing exercise where I sang the alto part, I have a source of musical material, of course the score library, and I have just one question here, which was the one I sang starting from there. And for this one, because it starts in the middle of a bar and ends also not at a bar line, I had to trim the score. And the trim option is right here. If I don't use it, I get just from the start of this bar to the start of that bar. But I can adjust the full bars, of course, up here. This is going from bar 36. If I want it from 34, 5, I do that. And then I click up here, and then I select the part that I want to have. So currently, and there are two modes. There's a view mode showing me what I've chosen, and there's an edit mode. So I click the edit mode to start from there and end there, and I can choose any. Note. I cannot choose here, but for that I just need to deselect or to go one bar back, because I can trim in the first and in the last bar of the excerpt, which is shown by the by the yellow color. So I want to go from until here, and I click OK, and it's there. And likewise, I can just import any scores from the music library that I want. For example, if I want a Bach chorale, I can do that. I can take that one and click next. Add bars here. And if I want an excerpt that stops wherever or starts wherever, I can have it going from there to here, for example. This is how the trim score function works. That was a quick tour through some exercises with the new features in EarMaster 7.5. Then I just want to thank you all for joining us, and I want to mention that for all of you that are already using EarMaster Cloud, you are more than welcome to send us an email if you have any questions to what I've shown here today, or other questions as you go along preparing your classes or working with the app. And if you are not using EarMaster Cloud but are curious and considering getting started with it, if you're a music teacher, you can get in contact with us to get a free trial, or to arrange for a meeting to talk about the options. And if you are just interested in using the app, everyone can download it from the App Store or from Google Play or from our website, and start working with it. And there are many options for doing that. There are some free things you can use, and other things that you can pay to unlock. So yes, so you can just explore that. Thank you all for joining, and I wish you a pleasant rest of the day.